What if the plant you've heard so much about, marijuana, wasn't just a recreational drug but a gateway to a higher consciousness, a mystical tool used for centuries to open the mind and spirit to a deeper understanding of the universe? Imagine for a moment that every puff, every moment spent in its presence, could be the key to unlocking ancient wisdom. But what if, in our modern world, we've lost touch with this sacred plant's true power? Marijuana has been used for spiritual practices for thousands of years, yet in today's society, it's often reduced to a mere substance for relaxation or escape. What we fail to realize is that this plant, in its purest form, has deep ties to ancient cultures and mystical practices, whether it was in the sacred temples of India, where it was used to connect with the divine, or in the mountains of Tibet, where it was seen as an aid to deep meditation. Marijuana has been a companion to those who sought a higher state of awareness. The origins of marijuana are steeped in ancient history, not just for its physical properties but for its spiritual significance. In ancient India, the plant was often linked to Lord Shiva, the god of destruction and transformation. The followers of Shiva, known as Shaivavits, consumed marijuana to help elevate their consciousness, seeking not escape but a closer connection to the divine. It was never about a temporary high, it was about spiritual awakening. They didn't use marijuana to escape life, but to enhance their understanding of it, to see the world through a lens unclouded by the mundane. This sacred use is not confined to just one culture. Cannabis was used as a part of spiritual practices across the world. The Sufis, mystical Muslims, believed that marijuana opened the heart, allowing them to connect deeply with their inner selves and with God. The ancient Egyptians used it to heighten their awareness during rituals, seeing it as a tool to connect with the divine and reach higher planes of existence. The plant's mystical properties were never in question. It was widely respected for its ability to elevate the mind. Yet today, marijuana is often seen through a very different lens. The modern world has reduced it to a recreational drug, a way to relax or escape. In some places it's even criminalized, treated as a substance of vice and excess rather than a sacred ally in the spiritual journey. We have forgotten its true potential, its original purpose, the way it was meant to connect us to something bigger than ourselves, the way it can open the mind, allowing us to see the world and ourselves with clarity. Why is this shift in perception so significant? In many ways it reflects our society's disconnect from spirituality. We are so often caught up in the chaos of daily life, distracted by the noise of the world, that we lose sight of the deeper connection that is possible. Marijuana, when used mindfully, offers us an opportunity to reconnect. It gives us the ability to quiet the mind, to let go of distractions, and to truly be present in the moment. It's not just about getting high, it's about getting real, getting in touch with the divine within us, experiencing the world in its truest form. Imagine for a moment if we could return to the origins of this plant, if we could approach marijuana not just as a tool for personal pleasure, but as a sacred tool for spiritual enlightenment. What would that look like? How could our lives change if we approached it with reverence as the ancients once did? In this way, marijuana is more than just a plant. It is a bridge connecting us to the deeper mysteries of existence. It is a tool for opening our eyes, allowing us to see what is hidden beneath the surface of our everyday lives. Through mindful use, it can offer us a glimpse of higher consciousness, a window into the divine. The ancient use of marijuana was never about a fleeting escape. It was always about connection, a deeper connection to ourselves, to the world around us, and to the divine. For those who understood its potential, marijuana was not a recreational indulgence, but a gateway to transcendent experiences. It was used as a tool for spiritual awakening, a means to go beyond the ordinary and step into a realm of heightened awareness. In ancient India, the connection between marijuana and the divine was well established. The sacred herb, called bhang, was consumed during festivals such as Holi and Mahashivaratri, dedicated to Lord Shiva. Here, marijuana was not simply consumed for pleasure, but as an act of reverence and devotion to the followers of Shiva. Consuming marijuana was seen as a way to align themselves with the god of destruction and transformation, helping to release the old and make way for the new. It was a ritualistic act that deepened their connection to the spiritual world, enabling them to enter a state of expanded consciousness. But it wasn't just India that held marijuana in reverence. In ancient China, it was utilized for medicinal and spiritual purposes believed to aid in achieving a state of higher awareness. The Taoists, with their deep connection to the natural world, saw marijuana as a tool that could help quiet the mind and connect with the divine forces of nature. In China, it was revered as a herb that could bring harmony to both the body and the spirit, promoting balance and unity with the universe. Moving west in the mystic traditions of the Middle East, marijuana's spiritual significance continued to grow. The Sufis, the mystical branch of Islam, used marijuana as part of their spiritual practices to induce a state of deep meditation. To them, the plant helped elevate the mind, allowing them to move past the ego and reach a state of unity with the divine. The Sufis saw marijuana not as an intoxicant but as a tool to achieve the ultimate spiritual goal, becoming one with the divine essence. This deep, ancient reverence for marijuana didn't stop there. In many indigenous cultures across the world, marijuana was seen as a sacred plant, one that could guide individuals towards spiritual clarity. It was used during rituals to open the mind to new realms, aiding in communication with the spirit world and with ancestors. In these cultures, marijuana was not a substance of indulgence, it was a sacred ally on the spiritual path. However, over time, this sacred connection to marijuana began to erode. In the modern world, it has become more associated with casual use and fleeting pleasure. But this is a distortion of its true purpose. When reduced to a mere recreational drug, marijuana loses its sacred power. Its potential to connect us to something deeper and more profound becomes obscured. We live in a time where distractions are everywhere, and the modern world pulls us further away from the deeper truths of our existence. We are constantly caught in the noise of everyday life, unable to find moments of stillness and clarity. Marijuana, when used mindfully, has the potential to return us to that stillness. It offers us an opportunity to step away from the chaos and into a space where we can truly see, feel, and understand the deeper truths of our lives. But we must approach it with respect. It is not enough to simply consume the plant and expect spiritual insight. Like any tool, marijuana must be used with intention. It is not a substitute for true spiritual practice. It is a companion to it. Meditation, prayer, self-discipline, these are the foundations of spiritual awakening. Marijuana can amplify these practices, heightening our sensitivity and awareness, but it cannot replace them. When used with reverence, marijuana can help quiet the mind, allowing us to access the deeper layers of consciousness that are often hidden beneath the surface. It can be a catalyst for transformation, helping us to shed the layers of ego and illusion that keep us trapped in the material world. By enhancing our awareness, marijuana can guide us toward a place of inner peace and spiritual clarity. This is not to say that marijuana is the answer to all of our spiritual questions, far from it. But in the right context, with the right intention, it can be a powerful tool for awakening, for reconnecting with the divine essence within. It can serve as a reminder of what is possible when we open our minds and hearts to higher consciousness. It is not about the plant itself, but about how we use it, how we approach it, with reverence, mindfulness, and respect. As we explore the true spiritual significance of marijuana, we must remember that it is not the plant that holds the power, but our ability to use it as a tool for personal transformation. Just as the ancients understood its potential, so too can we rediscover its true purpose. When approached with reverence, marijuana becomes more than just a substance. It becomes a pathway to deeper understanding, to heightened awareness, and to a connection with the divine. In mystical traditions, there is often a mention of the third eye, an energetic center believed to be the gateway to higher consciousness and spiritual insight. The pineal gland, located in the center of the brain, has long been associated with the third eye, a symbol of the intuitive wisdom that lies within each of us. When the third eye is awakened, we begin to see beyond the physical world and into the deeper truths that govern our existence. Marijuana, when used with intention, can act as a key to unlocking this deeper wisdom, enhancing our ability to tap into higher realms of consciousness. However, as with all powerful tools, marijuana's ability to open our consciousness is a double-edged sword. The modern misuse of the plant, where it is consumed purely for pleasure or escapism, disconnects us from the very potential it holds. Instead of offering a gateway to spiritual clarity, it can become a barrier, keeping us trapped in a cycle of superficial highs and temporary relief. This misuse distorts the original purpose of marijuana, turning it into an empty pursuit, a shallow distraction from the deeper journey of self-realization. In ancient times, those who used marijuana for spiritual growth approached it with deep reverence. They did not treat it casually, but as a sacred tool for transformation. They understood that, like any spiritual practice, the process of using marijuana required preparation, mindfulness, and respect. In cultures such as the Sufis and Taoists, marijuana was often consumed in the context of sacred rituals where its effects were carefully integrated with other practices like meditation, chanting, and prayer. It wasn't the plant alone that facilitated enlightenment, it was the combination of the plant's properties with the disciplined practice of the seeker. In Sufism, for example, marijuana was used to quiet the mind and open the heart, helping practitioners to transcend the ego and experience unity with the divine. For the Sufis, the intoxication of the plant was not seen as an end in itself, but as a means to reach a higher state of awareness, a state where the barriers between the self and the divine disappeared, and the practitioner could experience true spiritual ecstasy. This experience, however, was not about indulgence or escape. It was about deepening one's connection to the divine, about accessing the divine wisdom that resides in every being. The Taoists, too, viewed marijuana as a tool for spiritual development. In Taoism, the focus is on balancing the energies within the body, aligning oneself with the flow of nature, and achieving harmony with the universe. Marijuana, in the Taoist tradition, was used to help still the mind, allowing practitioners to align their thoughts and energy with the natural rhythms of the world around them. Through the use of marijuana, Taoists believed they could better understand the way of the universe, tapping into the flow of universal energy that governs all things. Yet the misuse of marijuana in modern times has led many to forget these ancient teachings. Today, marijuana is often consumed without any spiritual intention, reducing it to a mere form of recreational pleasure. It is not seen as a tool for enlightenment, but as an escape from reality. This misuse is a result of the disconnection from our deeper spiritual roots, a product of a society that values immediate gratification over inner growth. The modern world, with its endless distractions and superficial pleasures, has distorted the true potential of marijuana, turning it into a mere substance of indulgence. But the spiritual power of marijuana is not lost. It is still here, waiting to be rediscovered. When we return to the ancient wisdom that has long been associated with this plant, we can begin to understand its true significance. Marijuana is not a drug to be abused, it is a tool to be respected, a bridge to higher consciousness. When used with reverence, it can help us quiet the distractions of the world and open our hearts to the divine. In this modern age, we are often disconnected from the deeper aspects of our spiritual nature. We are bombarded by distractions, overwhelmed by the noise of our busy lives. But marijuana, when used consciously and with respect, offers a way to cut through this noise, to bring us back to the present moment, to reconnect us with our spiritual essence. It is a tool to help us remember who we truly are, a divine being connected to all that is. As we delve deeper into the spiritual significance of marijuana, it becomes clear that this plant holds a unique place in the journey of self-discovery and spiritual awakening. It is not simply a tool for expanding consciousness, but a mirror, reflecting back to us the truths that lie hidden within. When we open ourselves to the deeper experiences that marijuana can provide, we begin to see the world and ourselves in a new light, one that is full of clarity, insight, and connection. The plant's ability to alter our perception can, at its best, reveal the mysteries of the universe that are often obscured by the distractions of everyday life. In these moments of heightened awareness, we begin to understand the interconnectedness of all things. We start to perceive the subtle energies that flow through our lives, and we become more attuned to the divine presence that exists within and around us. Marijuana, when used with reverence, acts as a doorway to this deeper reality, a space where the mundane becomes extraordinary and the ordinary becomes sacred. This heightened state of awareness allows us to experience life from a place of profound presence. We stop rushing through our moments, caught up in the endless cycle of tasks and distractions. Instead, we become fully immersed in each moment, fully aware of the beauty and the divinity that surrounds us. In this space, we are not separate from the world but a part of it, flowing with it, in harmony with its rhythms. This is the true power of marijuana, to bring us back to the present, to help us reconnect with the divine essence within ourselves and in the world around us. However, this experience is not without its challenges. As with any spiritual tool, marijuana requires discipline, mindfulness, and self-awareness. The plant can offer us insights and revelations, but it is up to us to integrate these experiences into our lives. Without this integration, the spiritual insights we gain can fade into the background, leaving us unchanged. It is through the process of self-reflection and conscious living that we truly benefit from the plant's power. When we use marijuana mindfully, we are not simply seeking pleasure or relief. We are seeking transformation. We are seeking to deepen our understanding of ourselves and our connection to the divine. This transformation does not happen in an instant. It is a gradual process, one that requires patience, commitment, and a willingness to confront the truths that emerge from within. Marijuana is not a quick fix. It is a tool for long-term spiritual growth, one that can guide us as we walk the path of self-realization. This transformation requires us to approach marijuana with respect. It is not enough to simply use the plant for temporary pleasure or escape. We must treat it as a sacred ally, a companion on our spiritual journey. In many ways, marijuana is a mirror that reflects back to us the deepest parts of our consciousness. It helps us see the parts of ourselves that we often ignore or deny, the fears, the desires, the wounds. But it also helps us see the light within, the divine spark that resides in all of us. As we begin to understand the true spiritual significance of marijuana, we realize that its power lies not in the plant itself, but in how we use it. It is not about the high, but about the clarity that comes with it. It is not about the escape, but about the awakening. When used with intention, marijuana becomes a powerful tool for personal transformation, helping us to shed the layers of ego and illusion that have kept us disconnected from our true selves. Marijuana's role in spiritual awakening is not limited to the individual. As we use the plant to connect with our higher consciousness, we also connect with the collective consciousness. We begin to see the interconnectedness of all beings, to understand that we are all part of a larger divine plan. This awareness opens our hearts to compassion, empathy, and love, qualities that are essential for spiritual growth. Marijuana, when used consciously, has the power to awaken the divine within us, guiding us toward a deeper understanding of our purpose and our place in the world. In this sense, marijuana becomes a tool for both individual and collective transformation. It helps us awaken to the divine presence within ourselves, but it also helps us recognize the divine presence in others. It teaches us that we are not separate from the world around us, but intimately connected to it. This realization can change the way we live, the way we interact with others, and the way we view the world. As we come to the conclusion of this exploration into the spiritual significance of marijuana, we realize that this plant, once revered in ancient cultures, still holds profound potential for spiritual awakening today. Marijuana is not just a substance, it is a tool that, when used with intention and respect, can unlock the door to a deeper understanding of ourselves, the world, and the divine. Throughout history, marijuana was seen as a key to higher consciousness. Whether used by the sages of India, the mystics of the Middle East, or the healers of ancient civilizations, the plant was viewed not as an indulgence but as a sacred ally in the quest for spiritual insight. These ancient traditions understood something that modern society has largely forgotten: the power of marijuana to connect us to the divine. In today's world, where distractions abound and the noise of everyday life keeps us from our deeper truths, marijuana can still serve as a bridge. It allows us to step outside of the constraints of the ordinary world and into a space where the divine is more accessible, where clarity and insight become possible. The problem, however, lies in our misuse of this tool. When marijuana is used as a means of escape, a way to numb the pain of existence, it loses its spiritual potency. It becomes just another distraction in a world already full of them. To truly benefit from marijuana's potential, we must approach it as a sacred practice. We must treat it with the respect it deserves, using it with mindfulness and purpose. It is not enough to simply consume the plant and expect to experience spiritual enlightenment. Like any spiritual tool, it requires discipline. Marijuana should be used alongside practices like meditation, prayer, or self-reflection. It is in these moments of mindfulness that we can access the plant's true power. As we move forward in our spiritual journey, marijuana can be a guide, a tool that helps us to transcend the ego and see the world through a more expansive lens. It is not a quick fix, but a path to deeper understanding. When used in the right way, it can help us connect with the divine essence within, offering us the clarity and insight that we often seek but can't find in the chaos of daily life. But it's important to remember that the power lies not in the plant itself, but in how we use it. Marijuana is not a magic solution, nor is it a shortcut to spiritual awakening. It is a tool, a companion on the path of self-realization. It offers us a glimpse of the divine, but it is up to us to walk the path and integrate these insights into our lives. This requires a commitment to spiritual growth, a dedication to seeking truth, and a willingness to confront the deeper parts of ourselves. As we integrate marijuana into our spiritual practices, we must also recognize its role in our collective awakening. By connecting with our higher consciousness through marijuana, we are also connecting with the collective consciousness of all beings. We begin to see that we are not separate from the world around us, but intimately connected to it. This realization deepens our understanding of our purpose, of our interconnectedness, and of the divine energy that flows through all things. In a world where we are often disconnected from ourselves, from each other, and from the divine, marijuana offers us a way back. It helps us to reconnect with the divine essence within, and to awaken to the truth that we are all one. As we use marijuana with reverence, we tap into its true potential, not for temporary relief, but for spiritual awakening. It is a tool to help us see beyond the illusions of the material world, to experience the divine in every moment, and to recognize the sacredness of our existence. The journey of spiritual awakening is not easy. It requires effort, discipline, and a willingness to confront the truth of who we are. But marijuana, when used mindfully, can help illuminate the path, offering us clarity, insight, and a deeper connection to the divine. As we continue on this journey, let us remember that the power lies within us. The divine is already present within each and every one of us. Marijuana, in its highest form, is simply a tool to help us rediscover that truth. If you found this exploration enlightening and feel called to embark on a deeper spiritual journey, I invite you to take a moment now. Subscribe to this channel, share this wisdom with others, and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on more insights into spiritual awakening and the power of ancient practices. Together, let's continue uncovering the truths that can transform our lives. Thank you for being part of this journey. May your path be filled with clarity, peace, and divine connection.